104 Azure Study series. This series will be available on demand, so make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and save the session in your playlist. If you missed last week's episode of the Azure Resource Administration, this session is now available on our YouTube channel, on this YouTube channel that you can go and watch. If you probably join and you want to re-watch it again, you can do so as well. So in today's session, we'll be looking into how to administer virtual network on Azure. Throughout the session, don't forget to ask questions that you may have. And if you do forget to ask questions, you can still ask those questions on our Twitter page. I know currently there's a lot of ongoing issues with Twitter, but you can still ask those questions. So our Twitter handler is Azure Nigeria. Or you can also ask the question directly on our website by going to azurenigeria.community. And make sure you join our meetup group as well. We have weekly Azure study sessions every Saturday, so be part of the movement. I'll also share our meetup group and LinkedIn group in a comment section below. Without any further ado, let me introduce to you our speaker for today. So our speaker for today is Emu Ituk. He's a cloud infrastructure, security, and DevOps engineer with countless number of awards from Azure MCT, Azure MVP, and AWS community builder as well. He's a true community builder in a multi-cloud sense because he seems to be doing a lot in all these various platforms as well. And he is an author as well of numerous Azure solution articles online. So if you check online, you definitely come across a few of his articles he's written about multi-cloud. So you definitely have to check him out. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let me present to you Emok.
Okay, thank you very much, Kofi. That was a nice one. And good afternoon, good evening, good morning from anywhere you're joining us from. So today, as the moderator rightly said, we are going to be looking at how to administer virtual networking on Azure. So I'll bring up my screen now. Let me. Can you do that? Can you bring up my screen? Hello, can you hear me? Confirm if you can. My screen is up. Welcome to today's section. As you can see, the section has been ongoing for the past weeks. And today on section we will be focusing on Azure networking, virtual networking, and it promises should be an interesting one. You stay tuned as we get started. So we first of all, let me go live on my screen. So we have virtual networking to be one of the key infrastructure in Azure, one of the key resources in the sense that you can have your virtual machines and other resources on Azure, such as Azure App Service and other ones like the databases and all that storage. All those resources are communicated with one another through the means of virtual network. So virtual network is one of the key components on Azure. In fact, I don't think you can do without Azure virtual networking. So without having to waste much of our time, first of all, we look at what we're going to talk about today. One of the things we're going to look at is to introduce you to what virtual networking is all about, and that will involve configure virtual networks, configure network security groups, and also configure Azure firewall, and look at how to configure the Azure DNS, and then we will get our hands on the lab, implement virtual networks. So without having to, first of all, we need to understand what virtual network is. The popular short form that we call it is VNet, Azure VNet. Whenever you hear VNet, that is virtual network. And we understand it to be the fundamental building block for your private network. You can, in the sense that you can use it to establish the communication between your on-premises network and Azure you have your resources on Microsoft Azure and also have your resources, some of them on the private network, on your private network, on your premises. Azure Virtual Network play a key role in linking these two resources together. So, but VNet enables many types of Azure resources, such as Azure Virtual Machines, to securely communicate with one another. You can use it to secure the endpoints, the inbound and outbound communication, and all that to your resources. And also, it's also similar in terms of to the traditional network that you have and operate in your own data center. But Azure Virtual Network brings more additional benefits of Azure infrastructure, such as scale, and availability and acceleration. It gives you the opportunity to scale in and scale out, and also makes your resources to be available as always, and also gives you room to select your resources and all that. So, and part of this menu that we're going to look at in this configure virtual network, we're going to look at how you can plan virtual networks, then create subnets, create virtual networks, and how to plan your IP addressing, which is important, and also create public IP address, associate that public IP address with Azure resources, and also associate private IP address as well. Then a kind of demonstration on that. So we move down to plan virtual networks. First of all, you can see from the diagram, it's certain that virtual machines can only communicate with Azure between one another through the network interface card. The network interface card enables Azure virtual machines to communicate with Internet and Azure and on-premises resources. Assuming you have your own on-premises resources, which is this, and there's a virtual network. So what will enable this particular on-premises network to communicate with the resources, with the ones on Azure, is a network interface card, NIC. So a virtual network, a kind of virtual machine you create with Azure Portal has one network interface, each of them by default. So once you create your own virtual machine as code, if you do not create virtual network separate, Azure will automatically create a virtual network with a network interface card and attach to that VNet to enable communication with other resources. So please, I will feel free to adopt your question if you have any with the moderator. Okay, so now you need to first of all do a kind of logical representation of your own network in the cloud. How you want your cloud network, your virtual network to look like, exactly like the way you would do to your on-premises network. Have the logical view of it, and then you get started by creating a dedicated private cloud only virtual network, the one that communicates directly on Microsoft backbone network to your own on-premises securely. Then you have to also securely extend your data center with virtual networks, and also enable hybrid cloud scenarios. Once you do that, you have your own private and the public cloud, which is the Microsoft Azure in this case. We have already established what is called hybrid cloud scenario. So we move down to another one. You see, subnet is very important. In terms of maybe you have several resources and you need to manage your network so that you're able to get all the resources has a subnet, a IP address. You need to create a subnet. So a virtual network can be segmented into one or two subnets, and subnet provide logical division within your network. It helps you to split your network into logical units so that it will be to enable your resources to communicate efficiently and fast. Subnet can also help you improve security, increases performance, and make it easier to manage the network. In terms of security, you can use subnet to do that. And also, each subnet must have a unique IP address. And the unique address range cannot overlap. The while creating your subnet, you have to take note that your subnet, the IP address must not overlap with each other within your situation and in that VNet. So now we create a virtual network. If you want to create a virtual network, use it. I can use. There are many ways to create it. You can use the Azure portal, which is the first point of contact. If we are just getting started with Azure, then you can move down to creating it with PowerShell or Azure CLI. Each of this is also important. You also can create it with Azure of all, before you can create a virtual network, you need to create new virtual networks at any time. You can create that. And you can also add this virtual network when you create to a virtual machine. If you create them separately, you need to define the address space, and at least one subnet must be attached to it. Be careful with overlapping, as I said earlier, and address spaces. And the lab we are going to go through, we're going to see how to do this. Then IP address, plan IP address. DNet on-premises networks, DNet and VPN gateways, express routes, and then they communicate with private IP address with your Azure resources. Azure resources, then public IP address enable the internet-facing communication, public communication. So everything you are doing is behind the private addressing. And once we expose it, that exposure is coordinated through the public IP address. That enables people to access your application, your software, your website, and all that. So private IP addresses used within an Azure network and your on-premises network. When you use a VPN gateway or special route circuit to extend your network to Azure, that is what private IP addresses is all about. Then public IP addresses use it to communicate for communication with the internet, including Azure public facing services, such as like Azure public facing services could be maybe they are hosting your app on Azure App Service, or using the Azure virtual machine like a Linux virtual machine or Windows virtual machine. So everybody can use them. So you need to create this. Getting public IP address is not what we're going to get to know how to do it today. And we have several types of public IP address. We also have basic standard SKU. And also it's available into IP version 4 and IP version 6, which you can either use one or use both of them in your demonstration or in your environment. And also you can choose basic or standard. When you choose basic, there are limited benefits that you can get. When you choose standard, the benefit is huge in the sense that dynamic, so static IP address, the IP address can either be dynamic or static. But if you want to customize something that you don't need to, and I need to have control over, I would advise you go with static IP address. Then zone redundant standard SKU is attached to standard SKU. So, and also range of contiguous addresses available as a prefix. So we are going to get to learn how to do this when we get to the demo section. And move down to the next one. How to abstract this public IP address that you created. After creating it, you can abstract through NIC, NFC, network interface card. You can also use load balancer, front-end configuration. You also use VPN gateway, the gateway IP configuration, and all the application gateway as well. A public IP address resource can be associated with virtual machine network interfaces, internet-facing load balancers, VPN gateways, and application gateways. So that's what you can use it to abstract your public IP address with. So abstracting a private IP address, and you select and assign any sign or unreserved IP address in the subnet address range. And you can also use something like the network interface card and also internal load balancer observed. The other one was load balancer, but for private IP addresses, you have the load balancer and also application gateway there. So dynamic in terms of Azure assign this private address for you, but static, you are the one to select which one to assign. So that is, if you want to, by default, when you're creating a public IP address, it comes with dynamic IP addressing type, and you're the one to either change it or add and make it static for your resources to communicate with one another. So demonstration is that you need to create a virtual network. But I believe from what we've done so far, you're able to have a view on how to set up virtual network using the Azure portal and the PowerShell as well, which you can always try it out when at a later time. So we move down to the summary resources, which I'm going to get the link to for the chart for this tool. I'm going to get the link to this resources so that the moderator can post them on the chat section for you to see. So there's a sandbox attached to it. So I'm testing that on the chat section directly. Okay. If you please help me press that. As demonstration for you to do using sandbox. We also have a link that will enable you to implement in data machine and assign IP address. The link is also made available. So these are further learning resource links for you to learn more and all that. So move down to section 2 without much time. So with this page, we talk about configuring a network security group on Azure Connect. So network security group, one of the key resources, key security feature that you have in your Azure network. It helps you to do a lot to secure a network and other resources. So here we're going to learn how to implement it and also determine energy rule and determine energy effective rules and spread the energy rule and all that. So we move down to now implementing network security group. You can do this by several ways. You go directly to Azure portal and press it, and or you use PowerShell and all that. Then what this thing can help you do is Azure Network. Let's before look at what energy is. In Azure, you have a way to activate the rule of access to control your in kind of your access control list, and which allow you to deny or deny traffic or allow traffic to your virtual network or virtual machines instance in a virtual network. And that's the work of NSG. It can be associated with subnet or individual virtual machines instances within subnet. And that will help you to limit network traffic to resources in virtual network, and also can help you to list the security rules that allow or deny inbound and outbound traffic, network traffic. It can also be associated to a virtual to a subnet or a network interface. It can also be associated with multiple times in terms of we have done it before, it can always review and reapply it. So, and also, how do you determine this? There are a lot of consideration, a lot of things to take into consideration for this. And one thing is you need to know that the priority numbers, the lower the number, the higher the priority. Like we have 100, and that will be for this. We know that the lower number, the lower priority number has take priority over a higher number. Then security rules in energy enable you to filter network traffic that can flow in and out of the virtual network subnet and network interfaces. So there are default security rules. You cannot delete the default rules, but you can add other rules with a higher priority. So, and then we have how you determine energy effective rules. And energy are evaluated independently for the subnet and NIC. An allowed rule must exist at both levels for traffic to be admitted. So we have, from the diagram, you can see that this green arrow means allowed, and it must exist at both levels. Now we have used the effective rules link if you are not sure which security rules are being applied. Which security rules are being applied. So if you see this one, we have virtual network subnet and public IP address, then the private address is given, then accelerated is disabled. So this is how the rules work. Number one, there must be allow rules that must exist first of all. So you're going to see this further in the demo section. Then create an AZ rule. There must be source IP addresses, and there must be any tag, any, and there also must be IP addresses and service tags. Service tags can also help you in terms of you want to exclude the particular resources from being blocked. While you are pressing the NSG route, and you want maybe you have a storage account on your own resources, you create a storage account, and you do not want or maybe a particular virtual machine, let's say VM1, VM2 and 1 and 2, and you want to exempt VM1 from being blocked, maybe a traffic being blocked, inbound traffic being blocked, you can use service tags to do that. In application security group and also let key role and must be present. Then we also have destination calls in terms of which port are you going to allow or deny or open. So, so we also have service. Service could be HTTPS and SSH, RGP, and DNS, POP3, and can also add a custom service. Then priority, the lower the number, the higher the priority as said before. So take note of this. For those of you preparing for AZ-104, this particular series is targeting at AZ-104, the certification exam. So this can probably help you to pass the exam. So we also have implement application security groups. Then you can extend your application structure in terms of SGs, logically grouped virtual machines, web servers, and all that. So this is the goal of this is the application security group and define rules to control the traffic flow. You can also wrap the SG with an NSG for added security. So you can also help you do that. And demonstration in this particular section is you have access the energy blend, add a new energy, explore inbound and outbound routes. It's what you can do. And let me see the resources which you can leverage and work with this. So this time. So I will pass on to you. The PowerPoint slide is not available for sharing. So each of these has sandbox attached. So the link is there for you to clear. So we also have we move down to an Azure Firewall, configuring Azure Firewall. Now Azure Firewall is one of the key resources, key security resource on Azure. We can help you to block and also do a lot of security when you are running that. So in this place, we get to determine Azure Firewall uses, create Azure Firewalls, create Azure Firewall rules, and summary of resources. So we jump to the next slide. First of all, before you determine Azure Firewalls, this Azure Firewalls, we need to understand what it is. And we understand that it is one of the, it is a cloud native and intelligent network firewall security service that provides the best grade of threat protection for your cloud workloads. So when you get that, you see that you can determine, ways of determining Azure Firewall uses is stateful firewall as a service. And what this means is, okay, so it's divided into, let me get the right source for you. So there is also a built-in high availability with unrestricted cloud scalability in Azure Firewall, with Azure Firewall. So you can also create and enforce and lock application and network connectivity policies. It also has inbuilt threat intelligence based filtering built into it, and also it is fully integrated with Azure Monitor for logging and analytics. and also support for IP connectivity through deployment behind VPN and express route gateways. So from the diagram, you can see that we have scope 1, scope 2, then scope VNet. Each of them contains can convert to VNet, and user configuration, and we have it covers level 1, layer 1 to layer 7 connectivity policies. Then Microsoft Threat Intelligence is also there, and also non-malicious IPs and fully qualified domain names can also be checked with Azure Firewall. And you can also set up the connection between your premises resource, and you can as well use it to deny traffic by default. You deny traffic, to do that. So that is what Azure Firewall can do for you. And then how to create it? It's simple. You can create it using the Azure Portal or PowerShell or CLI as well. So from the architectural diagram, you can see how the illustration looks. You have your premises network over here, and also you have Azure Bastion, Azure Firewall, and VPN gateway attached to it. So a hub-spoke network topology is recommended when you are implementing Azure Firewall. Shared services are placed in the hub virtual network. Each environment is deployed to a spoke to maintain isolation. Like I said before, isolation is very important, which by default, Azure Virtual Network allows you to do that. Allows you to segment your resources. So we move down to the next slide. That's to do with creating firewall rules, Azure Firewall rules. So Azure Firewall Manager centralizes firewall management, and firewall policies contain rules and settings to control access. We have the NAT rules allow incoming connections. We also have the network rules, network address translation rules that allow incoming connections. We also have network rules contain source and destination addresses, protocols and destination ports. So application rules provide qualified domain names that can be accessed from a subnet. So when you are doing that, you see that under the setting of Azure Firewall policies, you see that the policies can be defined. So we have some resources that can help you to learn more on this section in addition to firewalls. So these are dedicated kind of well organized resources for you to look apart, able to understand this concept of Azure Firewall very well. So we are done with this. We move down to the next one, which is configure Azure DNS. Azure DNS, you're going to, in this section, you're going to learn how to, you're going to identify domains and custom domains. And also, you're going to also verify a custom domain, then how to verify which is optional in terms of sometimes you can do it for demo purpose, or you can do something that does not involve a custom domain. Create Azure DNS zones, delegate DNS domains, add DNS record sets, plan for private DNS zones, and also determine private zone scenarios, demonstrations, and summary of resources. What is going to look at. So now, what is Azure DNS? Azure DNS is a hosting service for DNS domains that provides name resolution by using Microsoft Azure infrastructure. Then, in terms of by hosting your domains in Azure, you can manage your DNS records by using the same credentials, APIs, tools, and billing as your other Azure services. So just as you will deploy your virtual machine, virtual network, and all that, that's the same way you deploy Azure DNS. And now, back to what we have on the screen, we have identified domains and custom domains. So when you create an Azure an actual AZ domain is created for you by default. So the domain is as initial domain name, usually in your domain name.microsoft.com. You can customize this by changing the name. After the customized name is added, after you have added the custom name, it must be verified by you to prove ownership of this domain, to prove that you are the owner, and these are the way to take ownership. So it's as simple as that. So now you move down to how you can create the DNS zone. Now a DNS zone hosts a DNS record for a domain. So that block of DNS record that you have, the storage location is known as DNS zone. Where multiple zones share the same name, each instance is assigned different name server addresses. So the root parent domain is registered at the registrar and pointed to Azure NS, Azure name server. Your registrar could be your third party like GoDaddy, Namecheap, and others. That's your main registrar. So you point that to Azure name server when you are bringing it to host on Azure. So delegate DNS domain. When delegating a domain to Azure DNS, you must use the domain server names provided by Azure DNS. Use all four. It's usually four in terms of when you get to see that. And as shown on this, see the name server 1, 2, 3, 4. You are required to use the 4 of them at once. So this is also important for your exams. You're preparing for it. It's also one of the key questions that may come out. Once the DNS zone is created, update the parent register. For child zones, register DNS records in the parent domain. So it's also important that you do that. So another one we need to do is add DNS record set. Now, a record set is a collection of records in a zone that have the same name and are the same type. You can add up to 20 records to any record set. So a record set cannot contain 2 identical records. Changing the drop-down type changes the information required. So from here, you look at this demo. You have the A record, the C name record, the AA record, and all that. So you can add up to 20 records at a time into any record set. So this is how to set the record set. Then plan for private DNS zone. Use your own custom domain names. One of the things you need to do. Provide name resolution for VMs within VNet and between VNet. Now, automatic host name record management is built into is implemented once, and you need to remove the need for custom DNS solutions. And we also have use all common DNS record types, and it's also available in all Azure regions. So request, like let's say you make a request to db.microsoft.lab and respond with a private IP address by Azure DNS. Then you connect to the source with Azure private IP address. So that's the diagram. The representation of that. Then determine private zone scenarios. So before I need to register the main VNet registration. Now, DNS registration in VNet is private and not accessible from the internet. It's private in terms of. And DNS queries across the virtual network are resolved. Reverse DNS queries are scoped in the same virtual network. Then you have all this when you are determining your private net zone scenario. So and that's you have the demonstration which you are going to carry out in the sandbox. The material is here. So I'm going to share the link once again on how to configure the DNS Azure DNS. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for that. So, let me paste the link for also how implement DNS for Windows Server. So I have that pasted the link with that video. So we move down to the next section, which is I think the last section for this presentation for today. Now we are going to implement the network in form of lab in this section. So the task one would be what our lab would be, a kind of our scenario would be that you plan to create a virtual network in Azure. That you host a couple of Azure virtual machines. You will deploy them into different subnets of the virtual network. You also want to ensure that their private and public IP addresses will not change over time. That's when you can apply your static IP address. To comply with social security requirement, you need to protect public endpoints of Azure virtual machines accessible from internet. Finally, you need to implement DNS name resolution for Azure virtual machines, both within the virtual network and from the internet. So one of the objectives is to create and configure a virtual network. Two is to deploy virtual machines to the virtual network project. Then we move down to configure private and public IP addresses for Azure VMs. We also, task 4 will be configure network security groups and also configure Azure DNS for internal name resolution and also we will configure Azure DNS for external name resolution. So that is how we're going to do. This is the architectural representation of diagram for what we're going to implement. I believe you have with your laptop and all that. Okay. Sorry about wisdom. Can you hear me now? Please confirm by through the charts, like can you hear me clearly. So we move down to the last section now. I'm going to put up I'm going to head to Azure portal, which is this. So you're going to implement stuff through using the cloud shell. But first of all, you need to create the virtual network first. This one will come down to this. Creating virtual network, just click on it. If it's not already on your dashboard, you can do this by simply searching for it. Once you search for it, it comes out. You pick it up, you are getting through the Azure portal. So you can go through the services and all resources you create. So we need to pick it directly from the server. So I have an existing what's called a VNet. We're going to create a new one for our demo today. So we go to create. So I am here to create. So first of all, I've created a resource group. Resource group is the logical folder that holds all your resources together. And the name would be related to what we are doing, to the series we are doing, which is 104, and also G1 is the name of my resource group. So that has been created. So move down to supply the name of your resources, know the name of your VNet, and you name it AZ-104 Azure VNet fund. So that's what it is. So we will move down to the IP address, then the region. You get the region here. I'm going to select the region. I usually use, I'm going to put it up. I can leave it at West US. It's fine. West Europe, sorry. So I'm going to move down to the IP address. I will add an IP address. Like I will add an IP version 4 address. I will add 10.40.0.0. So I have my static IP address, which is this. So now I'm going to, if you wish to use IP at the version 6 address, you can select it and add it. So in this case, we are not going to use that. So you have that, but you can make this place to be 20, subnet to be 20. So now we're going to click and add subnet. Under here, we're going to add subnet. There's a default subnet already. We're going to add one more subnet. The subnet name will be subnet 010 subnet 0. So the IP address here will be 10.14.0.0/20 subnet. So now the NAT gateway, we leave it like that. So that's just click add. So at this point, we are going to review and create. So now we have created, we are about to create our manager. Create it. So after that, I'm going to head on to, let me see. From the diagram that we have, from the diagram that we have subnet 01 and subnet 02. So I'm going to quickly create subnet 1 now. So when we go to the resources, we will add additional subnets on that subnet. We're going to add that. And that will be subnet 1. So we have subnet 1, and the IP address going to be 10.14.0.1. That is valid. So, okay, sorry. We have added one more additional subnet and all that. So we save this. So we have two subnets that we have added, 0 and 1. So now we are going to head to the cloud shell. I've already opened my own, but if you are not opening your own yet, go to this place, click it, and now we are going to, let me check if I have my that already uploaded to the cloud shell storage, cloud drive. So I've already defined, but you can, I'm going to drop a link for, so here you can get the PowerShell command that can create it for you. Or you can, so I'm dropping a link at the chat section for the mobile code to make it available for you. Create a VM. This. So I have this already in the lab file. So I'm going to run this script. I'm going to run this script because the name of my resource group is defined as, let me expand this. Please confirm if you can see clearly. So the name of my resource group is AZ-104 RG. So I'm calling that script that name now in this place with a $sign and all that. So then I call again to this place. And another one is it will deploy a template that has this. If I bring up my own, if I bring up my screen, my Visual Studio Code, I already have this. I already have that defined here. So we are going to have we're going to have we have this defined already. So running that script on my own Azure Cloud Shell will deploy a virtual machine, a two virtual machine with the name VNet1, using the VNet that we created before, the VNet1 that we created before, and all that. So that's what it's all about. So I'll go to Azure Portal back, go back to the Azure Portal, and having applied that, I'll press enter and see that deploy the VNet. Then the password to this VM has already been defined in my own script here. We go to has already been defined as student and password is this. So it's already enclosed into the included in the lab file in the script that deployed. So while this is being deployed, you can see that one VM has been deployed, this one. Then under the resource group and under into the VNet that's created before. So now we proceed to the next stage in this thing. We are going to configure private and public IP addresses for the Azure VM. So if you go to the resource group that we created before, let's confirm that our VMs are there. So we have VM1, 0 is there, and we'll have VM0 and 1. So that the two VMs are there. Let me expand that. So we have that. Okay. So the next thing will be to configure this. So on the RG1, which we are here right now, so we are going to click on, we are going to go to the VNet let. Then we are on the VNet let now. Then we are going to look for connected devices. This particular place we are implementing what is called private and public IP addresses. So connected devices let is here going to head to. So in this place, we are verifying that. Okay, let me see. I'm verifying that there are two network services. This and that. So let me refresh this. This is not the VNet. Okay. So like this, within back to the go to the AZ-104 VNet. Okay, this one. I have another VNet better. So we go to so we have the network interface card 0 and 1 defined here. So we're going to click on this 0, NIC 0. So in this place, we are going to click IP configuration. That is the network interface 0, 0. That is the first network interface. So in this place now, what do? We are here. So we want to configure public and private IP address here. So we configure this is already set up, which is the primary IP version before that we had before. That we set up in that one. So I'm going to click on this on the default IP that was set. Then under assignment, the assignment type under the IP config 1 is dynamic. So now we are going to make it static. Remember that I say you can only take control in terms of, by default, Microsoft will make it dynamic. Azure will make it dynamic, and you can make it static to control that. So we are here now, and we're going to move down to, having done that, you click save. This is being saved. And okay, let's go back to the init one that we created. So I can pick that from here. So I've already done the assignment to static in O1. So in this place, I'm going to also do the same thing. So we click in this place. So we are going to associate the public IP address. Here is disassociated. So we're going to associate it. After we click that, we're going to create new public IP address. Here, and the name should be like AZ-104 Azure public IP1. So we are going to go with the standard SKU. Remember that this is what we are talking about that time. We're going to select standard SKU and then click OK. So you can see we have our public IP address associated. So we now click save here. Sorry, I've actually forgot to make the assignment to be static. The assignment has to be static. It's not dynamic. So now let me go back. Okay, so we have that. That's being saved. So within this IP config one let, we're going to enable the assignment on of the internet network interface card one to be static as well. Okay, sorry, let me actually save it finally. We have associated the public IP address and we also make it to be a static IP. So the next thing we are going to do is to configure the NSG, network security group. So, but before we do that, what we need to do, we need to actually go to our resource group, back to the resource group that we have here, and try to and click on the first VM, which is this, then connect to it. I'm going to RTP it, kind of remote, using the remote desktop protocol connection. That's for 3389. So you can connect to it here. So what you need to connect here is the public IP address of the. Now it's reporting that port prerequisite not met. You should add inbound port and all that. So let's connect first and see what happens. Or let's jump to creating Azure Network Security Group. First of all, you come back to this place. So we go back to go out of this place and search for network security group. So we create a new one. connected. So that has been broken. So we go back to, we're going to be on the same resource group. That's where if I can put them, no, it's advisable just to be in one resource group, because when you delete one resource group, you delete all your resources. So we give it the name to AZ-104 NSG01, and the region is West Europe. So we click review and create. Okay. So we are creating that. So now what we are going to do is to define some rules under this NSG by going to the resource after creation. Then under settings, the first rule we are going to work with is the inbound security rules. This is already here. So it's, check out. We can add one, just as I was showing you while we are demonstrating. The source is any. Any means any of this will work. It will apply to any of this. But if you select IP address, it means it is specific to IP address. So the first thing should be any. Then leave the wildcard to be asterisk. Asterisk means there's no limit. Then destination is also any. Then RDP is the service track we are going to add. The service we are going to add is RDP. So the action would be allowed. Allow that action. So priority, we can make it 300. Because 100 already been made. So this thing would be allowed any inbound, any RDP inbound connection. You can add description, it's not compulsory. So you can see that we are getting a problem that this is exposed to the internet. Anybody can connect to it. So we add that. So because of our time, we have really done so well. We have done some certain things. I'm going to do a kind of recap of what we have covered in the lab. So I'm going to drop the lab outline and objectives so we can further finish up with what we have for today. So I'm going to drop this for you. To finish up, we have done about 3. So remain the tasks 5 and 6. So you're going to do that on your own leisure time. So we have read and configured a virtual network. We have deployed 2 virtual machines to the virtual network. We have also configured private and public IP address of this. We have also configured the virtual network security groups. So the tasks 5 and 6 for you to go and configure Azure DNS for internal name, and also the task 6 is to configure the DNS for external name resolution. So I'm going to round up for end for today's section at this point. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a blessed weekend.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining our session. Emo, thank you for a wonderful session. You've run through a lot. I mean, you ran through creating of a virtual network, creating of a security group, and even went on ahead on creating on the a virtual machine. So it's really great, right? Thank you very much for this session. So guys, we do have another session coming up next week, so do well to join us. So once again, thank you and have a wonderful evening. All right, bye for now.
Okay, bye.